Everything you've been taught about spotting manipulation is the reason you keep falling for it. So I'm going to give you the world's simplest system to be immune to manipulation. Not 10 signs to memorize, one internal shift and 3 moves, and by the end, you'll never be rattled in a high-stakes conversation in the same way again. Because here's the trap you're in right now. You read the article, 10 signs someone manipulating you. You memorized them, and you still walked out feeling smaller, like you'd agreed to something you didn't mean to. Manipulation doesn't show up wearing the signs from the article. By the time you're running the checklist in your head, you've already lost. I've spent a decade inside C-level boardrooms, watching exactly what makes the powerful lean in and tune out. The people who are actually immune don't spot more tactics than you. They do something completely different. And you're never going to be unshakable until you see what it is. Here's the first problem nobody tells you about. Manipulators don't use the same words. They can't be memorized. But every single one of them is trying to do the same thing to your body. Urgency. A little spike of fear, a flash of guilt, that feeling of, I need to respond right now. That feeling is your tell, not their words, your physiology. Picture a room I sat in. It was a negotiation. The other side drops a deadline out of nowhere. We need an answer by the end of the day or the offer's gone. Everyone's chest tightens. My clients didn't because she'd learned the move I'm about to give you. When you feel the spike, this urgency, the guilt, the rush, that's the signal. The signal to slow down, not to speed up. The feeling that says, act now, is the exact feeling you treat as a stop sign. Manipulation is a fire, and your speed is the oxygen. Stop feeding it air, and it goes out on its own. No leadership program teaches this. You were trained to answer fast to look smart. In a high-stakes room, fast is how they own you. So you've slowed down, now what? Because here's the next trap. Slowing down without a tool just makes you look hesitant. You need something to do in the pause. Here's the gold. One question dissolves almost every manipulation tactic on contact. You ask out loud, calmly, what happens if I don't decide right now? Watch what that does. What happens if I don't decide right now? A real deadline survives the question. There's genuine reasons they'll tell you. A manufactured one collapses. The pressure was the product. The moment you make them justify the urgency, you've handed the weight back to them. Back in that room, my client asked it, what happens if we don't decide today? Silence. Then, a worse offer than the one they'd pulled. The deadline was never real. It was a lever. And she just snapped it. Say this instead. Not, I need to think about it. That sounds weak. Like you're asking permission. You're not asking permission. You are auditing their pressure. Now, the real one. Everything I've given you so far still fails if you walk in needing something. If you walk in needing something from then, needing the deal, needing approval, needing to be liked, then you have a problem. Manipulation is a hook, and need is the hole that the hook goes into. This is where Robert Greene gets it half right. He'll teach you 48 ways to play the game, 48 power plays. But knowing the moves doesn't protect you because the person running them on you knows the same 48 rules. The asymmetry isn't knowledge, it's need. The people who are truly immune, they walk in genuinely willing to leave. Not as a bluff, actually willing. The moment of unlock is you don't get immune by learning more tactics. You get immune by reducing what they can take away from you. Want the outcome, don't need it. Think of it like this. A manipulator works like a grappler. They need a sleeve, a collar, a wrist to hold on to so they can throw you. Need is the fabric they grip. Take it away, and they're swinging at a man or a woman made out of smoke. Here's the question that changes everything. Why are you walking in needing the deal in the first place? Usually, it's because they're one of three options you've got, and you can feel the other two slipping. You know that situation? So you cling. Now flip it. When you're the only person your client trusts to solve this, when you've built enough authority that there's no real substitute for you, the need evaporates. Not because you fake detachment, but because you genuinely have other doors open. That's what authority actually buys you. Optionality. The expert with a wait list never sweats a single negotiation because no one client can hold the whole thing hostage. Manipulation runs on scarcity, your scarcity. Authority is how you stop being scarce to them and start being scarce to the market. The most powerful person in any room is the one who's fine walking out of it. Remember my client? The deadline that wasn't real? My client wasn't immune because she'd memorized signs. She felt the spike and slowed down. She asked one question and she walked in willing to leave. 3 moves, 1 frame. That's the whole system. Not spot the manipulator. Become the person there's nothing to grab onto. The next move, the one that makes people stop trying to manipulate you in the first place because they can feel it won't work. That's the next video. Follow so it finds you.